That's exactly how royal watchers have been feeling about Meghan Markle's pregnancy with Archie for years. From day one, there were rumors of strange footage, awkward baby bump moments, and interviews that seemed overly staged. Now, those rumors have just turned into a full-on shout because, according to insiders, Meghan has allegedly admitted it. Do you ever get the feeling that something just never added up? We're talking about a full-fledged private apology to the palace in an attempt to mend some of the royal bridges she's burned. Don't expect a press release or Buckingham Palace tweeting about it, though, as that's never how they do things. According to sources close to the palace, she faked the pregnancy. It sounds unbelievable, right? But behind the scenes, it's chaos. And Prince William is reportedly furious. Charles the King was furious. The most bizarre aspect of Meghan's timing is that it's not happening during her Hollywood heyday. Rather, it's happening after her Spotify contract fell through, after her Netflix buzz died down, and after the public began to turn chilly. He's remaining silent once more, but those close to him say the disappointment runs deep. Her entire brand, which is based on poise and self-reliance, is faltering, thus, the apology. While some see it as a sincere effort to put things right, others see it as damage. However, if the confession is accurate, it's not just about Meghan, it's about what the lie did to the entire royal family. According to those inside the palace, the staff members who worked with Meghan during her time there are shocked, some feel deceived, and others are strangely relieved because, let's face it, the pregnancy rumors have always been there. People have pointed out how her baby bump changed shape and how she leaned over in heels in ways that no one expecting a baby would ever notice. The contradictions, and those who questioned it were labeled conspiracy theorists or worse. However, the same questions are again being strongly resurfaced, and Harry remains mute with no acknowledgement, denial, or response. Regardless of your stance, it's clear that Harry has been acting strangely, withdrawn, and conflicted, almost like a man who isn't entirely sure where he stands. Some claim he didn't realize that he actually thought Meghan was pregnant, and this is news to him as well. Perhaps it's because the reality is finally beginning to catch up with them. Everything we believe to be true has been revealed by this entire circumstance. It goes beyond a fictitious pregnancy to include issues of loyalty, trust, and the royal lineage. For example, Prince William is apparently taking more personally than anybody else. For years, he has avoided interviews, kept quiet, and maintained the family's dignity while smiling through the storm, but according to sources, he feels that Meghan's actions go too far. Family members, and for someone like William, who has dedicated his life to preserving the image of the crown, that is unacceptable. However, the palace says nothing, no confirmations, no denials, just thick, suffocating silence, which only serves to stoke the fire because when the palace is silent, the public becomes louder. Twitter is blowing up. TikTok ideas are all over the place, with news popping out every hour that all revolves on the same theory. If Meghan feigned it, what else was false? What more may be considered an act? People now expect answers, not just questions, and they're not going to back down this time. Prince. In the past, when Harry was a royal, everyone adored the naughty younger son, the war veteran, the one who embraced children without hesitation, and the one who laughed with the media. However, now, he is a shadow of that man, with weary eyes, distant expressions, and a look that screams regret more than confidence, and Meghan has allegedly admitted to something as big as pretending to be pregnant. Others close to the situation don't buy it. They think Harry knew or at least suspected and chose silence over scandal. In any case, his role in this whole mess is becoming harder to ignore because if he didn't know, that raises questions about how much control he had. Some insiders believe Harry was completely unaware that he genuinely believed he was going to be a father in the most traditional sense. He truly has in his own marriage, and if he knew, he would not only be a victim but also a co-conspirator behind the palace walls. The response has been emotional. According to friends of the Queen, Camilla, who is known for her calm demeanor, is furious because isn't just about deceit, it's about humiliation. Camilla has spent decades negotiating her way into the public eye and restoring the royal image piece by piece, and now she sees it all crumbling once more after Meghan's most recent blow. Seriously detrimental to the future of the monarchy. For example, King Charles has endured enough health scares, public pressure, and family breakups recently, and now those close to him claim that he is not only hurt but numb. Charles has always adopted the keep calm and carry on strategy, swallowing the Oprah interview, the Netflix documentary, and even the tell-all memoirs without a public outburst. However, this is different. An alleged fake pregnancy strikes at the core of royal family life. Heritage royal aides, who worked with Meghan, are looking back on those awkward photo ops, the way staff were told to handle her wardrobe, and the carefully staged appearances that suddenly feel off. One former palace employee, who wishes to remain anonymous, said, "We were always told to just smile and support, but now it feels like we were part of something we didn't." It drags the entire institution into the mud and leaves a stain that might never fully wash out. Enroll in. The public's reaction has been divided into two camps. Some are furious, claiming that validates their long-held suspicion that Meghan was never interested in tradition but rather in the limelight. Others are supporting her, arguing that could be an emotional plea for redemption, a woman attempting to mend the harm and regain some humanity in a world that has tormented her. Regardless of your stance, the trust is broken. There is a sense that the apology, if genuine, wasn't made for the family but rather for survival, and that Meghan's Hollywood influence has diminished, the public goodwill she once had is dwindling. And Meghan Markle's phony pregnancy is more than just slanderous rumors, it's a direct blow to the credibility of the couple who left the royal family while claiming moral superiority. All of their decisions, including stepping down, interviews, and partnerships, are now being re-examined through a much more skeptical lens. Charles has always played the long game, whether it was waiting decades for the throne or navigating the chaos surrounding Diana, Camilla, and now Meghan. He has learned to absorb the storm in silence, but silence doesn't mean indifference behind closed doors. When the media that once supported her turns cold, sometimes the only thing left to do is go back to the beginning and try to clean the slate, no matter how messy that slate has become. According to insiders, he's devastated, especially for Harry is more important to the monarchy than the monarchy itself because, despite all the talk of betrayal and image, this is still his son, and witnessing Harry's transformation from adored prince to troubled outsider has left scars that even the crown cannot erase. He remembers the young Harry, the boy who followed him on royal tours, laughed unrestrainedly, and looked up to his older brother. Now, that boy is gone, and in his place is a man who appears to be constantly lost, as though he is looking for something but is unsure of what it is. Charles hasn't publicly spoken and probably never will, but those closest to him say the disappointment goes beyond any headline if it really happened. William has always believed in duty first and is the one who has never wavered, stepped back, or broken ranks with him. In the meantime, Prince William has reportedly drawn a hard line, saying there is no room for sympathy. He views this as a betrayal of the institution he has dedicated his life to protecting, not a family drama. Meghan's insiders believe he is not interested in restoring confidence, and there is increasing friction inside the royal staff as well. The alleged deception is not simply a personal insult, it is a full-on attack on everything the monarchy stands for. If Meghan is indeed attempting to make reparations, who does she think will accept it? What might making it right even entail? A press conference, a meeting with the monarch, a new documentary, or something else entirely? Even worse, there was another carefully planned interview intended to change the perception and win back the public. What's crazy is how divided the public still is. On the one hand, there are devoted supporters who think Meghan is being punished for daring to leave a toxic system, and they view the apology as a human moment in which a woman admits her mistakes and tries to grow and move on. But on the other hand, there is a sizable crowd that feels duped by those who once supported her, claim that they feel deceived and ashamed for ever supporting her. This isn't progress, it's survival mode. And then there's Harry, who remains silent without making any remarks, statements, or subtle PR reversals. Others think he's waiting for something no one knows, while others think he's emotionally immobilized and trapped between his wife and the family he no longer genuinely belongs to. However, it's obvious that any trust there may have been between Harry and the crown is now irreparable. This whole scenario is bigger than one startling discovery. If this apology is genuine, Meghan simply rewrote her legacy as the person who almost brought the monarchy to its knees over a lie, rather than as the misunderstood outsider who fought tradition. It's about a royal family at war with itself, how quickly image can crumble when truth starts to leak through the crack, and, most importantly, the cost of choices, public, private, and ones you thought no one would ever find out about. Once intended to be the most likable face in the crowd, he is now the silent observer of a potentially eternal storm. The trust has been destroyed.